Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. When you're on my channel, remember to click through to videos and also live. Yesterday, I did a live for you about what to do if you are overwhelmed by current events. And I finished off by saying that it's very, very important to take care of your health, especially in these trying times. And I also let you know that I was going to be doing a special interview with a new sponsor, and this is over at myredlight.com. So we're going to be diving into red light therapy, and you are going to be hearing from Jonathan Otto. So I'm here at myredlight.com. You'll see Jonathan Otto. He's the person that I'm interviewing on this show. We are going to be talking about what red light therapy is, how it can help you. And I do want to let you know that he was calling in from Washington, D.C., from a hotel room, and apparently there was a little bit of an internet lag. So near the end of the interview, the audio and video are slightly out of sync. So if you prefer near the end, you can listen rather than watch the video. All right, let's dive in. Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. You know that from time to time, I like to bring you interviews with individuals that are going to bring you cutting edge information about alternative methods and ways of healing, of feeling better. My guest today is Jonathan Otto, and he is an investigative journalist, and he specializes in the medical arena. And he has partnered with individuals that are looking for alternative methods of healing, from autoimmune disease all the way to cancer. He has been on the front lines for many years. And Jonathan, I'm so glad to welcome you to the show today.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Peggy. So I'm a truth teller. It's not always very fun being a truth teller and being the odd one out, but what it does is it leads you to solutions. And so I when I got a couple of degrees back in Australia with a major in journalism and then in education, I went into developing world issues. So I worked in everywhere from Tanzania, Mozambique, and Papua New Guinea, Mongolia, covering international issues related to human justice. Part of the reason why I'm coming to you from DC right now with Tim Tebow and his foundation with technology to combat human trafficking. And we're having some major wins, which is amazing because this is something that it really threatens our future. And so my interest has always been on solving problems that relate to human suffering. And because of that, so I went down every rabbit hole. 10 years ago, I was a producer on a series called The Truth About Cancer that became the most well-known documentary series on cancer.
I really love how you put that you're here to find solutions to end human suffering. And that can be as extreme as human trafficking, as you mentioned. But there are also things that just in our daily lives are struggles for us as we want to have more energy. We want to overcome, for example, autoimmune conditions and other situations that are zapping our energy, making us feel more tired, not being able to share our gifts as intended. So that's why I'm really excited to hear about this cutting edge technology. And yeah, let us know.
Absolutely. So, Peggy, the big discovery, it actually, funny enough, dates back to 1903 when Niels Finsen won the Nobel Prize for light therapies to reverse disease. In this case, it was lupus vulgaris. And then there were tens of thousands of cases that were coming out in the early 1900s. And so it's surprising that it took so long for this to gain traction. Then when you fast forward to the early 2000s, you go back for 1967, Dr. Andre Mester became the founding pioneer of red light therapy. And what happened there was that it was able to replicate laser technology that was developed around that time. And so it made it affordable for people to have it in their homes. And the studies that then have come out over the last 2 decades have been absolutely shocking from all different types of conditions. And I'll give you some examples. There's a pilot study on lymphoma that was published in 2006 where they had only 3 participants. And so you could read about this on PubMed. And they gave them something called a photosensitizer. The one that people are talking about is methylene blue, which is an example of a photosensitizer. In this case, they used one called aminoleuvolinic acid, and they gave this to them while they irradiate, the word is irradiate, them with a 630 nanometer red light. And the shocking thing was, out of the three, all three went into remission, complete remission, and it was within that single week after 2 sessions. And so you could read all about it. I can actually even do a screen share, but do you have is that
Yep.
fine? Yeah.
Hang on
And
one
so
second.
yeah, awesome. So I'll flash some of these things up momentarily to validate what I'm saying, because I don't actually think people should even believe what I'm saying. I think they need to look at it for their own with their own two eyes, because if you have an unrealistic expectation of what something can do, it will actually set you back. You need to have a correct understanding of what that can and can't do, and look at therapies that support. For example, uh, diet will always support a light therapy. The better your intake is of plants, because they're photosensitive, the more effective the therapy. And so understanding, what certain things do. That being said, these studies often didn't even assess diet. So these things were actually occurring with the process of light in the body. And I can explain the mechanism. But another study, now let's look at a
You're
larger.
welcome to share, Jonathan, if you
Oh,
like.
thank you. I appreciate it, Peggy. A breast cancer study where they tested 4 different wavelengths. And this is why the education now around red light therapy and light therapies is so important, because it's different nanometers of penetration for different conditions. And in this case, they tested 4 different wavelengths. And so wavelengths are denoting the depth of penetration. So the lower the number, the shallower the depth of penetration, but that is actually more ideal for certain scenarios. I'll give you an example. The breast cancer study was done in vitro, so in a petri dish, but it was on both triple negative and non-triple negative breast tumor cell lines from humans. And they tested 630, 660, 730, and 615. They found that it was just 660 that could actually drop the proliferative activity, or as it's called, cell viability of the cancer cell lines, meaning it dropped the breast tumor growth rate by 40% in 24 hours. So, and why could it do something like this? And the answer is all to do with mitochondria, because mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cells, and they're what provide the cell's ability to conduct the activities that it needs to. And what it really highlights is that whether it's cancer or another disease, what is happening is that cells are not getting the information that they need. And so when the cells are unhealthy because they're not receiving what they need for energy production, then the body is unhealthy. And if they get what they need, then all of a sudden the activities that the body would normally be able to carry out are carrying out at an astronomical rate. And this has dramatic implications for all different types of autoimmune disease. Many of your audience may be fighting hypothyroid, for example. And because there's so many mitochondria in every single thyroid cell, in fact, thousands per cell, anywhere between 1, 2, 3, 4,000 cell mitochondria per thyroid cell, as an example, like with the heart, like with the liver, the brain cells, they have an abnormal number of mitochondria in the cells. And once they're fed, they produce adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Now the cell has energy. When the cell has energy, it can perform the functions that it needs to. And what does that mean? It means that you don't have the problems that you had, in many cases.
And you were talking about that, Jonathan, the reason our mitochondria isn't working as well, that can be toxins in the air, it can be pollution, problems with water, our food. Is that true, that those are the things that can deplete the mitochondria's ability to function?
Yes, yeah. So toxicity will combat and will basically destroy all kinds of cell functions, including mitochondrial connections. For example, the mitochondrial stem cell connection is well established, and what that is showing, that once you have, for example, parasites that are intracellular inside the cells, that your normal production of even stem cells is not happening properly. You're not proliferating enough stem cells, so that you can't do turnover in your body, meaning that you're replacing your organs continually, which people don't even realize. So that you think, oh, well, I've had this problem all my life, but it's not because there's not enough cells. It's not because that you were stuck with that same like heart or kidneys, because they're actually replacing themselves with new cells. But there is a lack of energy in the body that's causing that conversion not to happen properly. So it keeps repeating the same cycle, and you can't get abundant health. And toxicity is impeding this. And that toxicity can be overcome by therapies that relate to detoxification. And so hence why people are doing parasite cleansing and doing heavy metal detoxification, all of which are wonderful. But the one that is working so well intracellularly is the light therapies that are able to shoot past the digestive system that may not be working properly, and actually shoot straight into the cells and start to perform these functions, including the production of reactive oxygen species like singlet oxygen. When your body will produce this naturally when stimulated by light therapies like red light, then what the body can do is it will cause apoptosis of unhealthy cells. And these are what all the studies are proving. That's the mechanism. Reactive oxygen species generated by the body. So even though you look at a light, you wouldn't think it's an oxygen therapy, but it's an oxygen therapy because it's causing your body to produce reactive oxygen species, which then target these disease cells and clear out this toxicity at a cellular level through apoptosis, which is programmed cell death.
How about very specific conditions? I see that people can use this for hand, palm, finger, wrist pain, knee pain. And I also like that these kinds of therapies can be available to people at all different budgets as well.
So you have all of the areas of the body that do well with light, and so you can target areas, so and you can do that with like full body panels, which will then be systemic, and you'll be able to cover all your vital organs, for example, with the full body panel that would go from like head to groin and cover all these critical areas. And so certainly that would always be my recommendation. And you're right when you led by the fact that there's no reorders like supplements, so it ends up being more cost effective than any other therapy you could do because it's one and done. And so if you took the cheapest supplement you could find, and then you even took a full body red light panel and you compared them, it would actually cost you less, and a lot less, to get the red light therapy device, because when you stack up what you're paying over years, it ends up being a lot more expensive. And so
And friends, I do want to let you know that Jonathan was very gracious to offer our viewers here a 10% code. You can just use the word Peggy. And I want to hop on over to the website here for a moment, Jonathan, so people can see. And this is simply myredlight.com. Before I do that, I want to tell you that I do have a friend, and she has these panels in her home, and she's over 50, but you wouldn't know that by looking at her. And she's funny because she says, "Oh, I have to go to my red light therapy." And for her, not only is it like a regular routine that she does, but it also, she has told me, it helps her get a better night's sleep. She knows that she's doing something good for her body. And she said, I just do the whole body. I do the whole body. I have a whole room outfitted with it. So I was so intrigued when I had this opportunity to share this information. So let me share the website. And that is myredlight.com. That's where we're heading right now. Myredlight.com. There's Jonathan. And friends, you can scroll through here to get more information. You can see some of the details about how you can benefit.
The thing that I was promising before, I didn't want to leave people hanging with this. So you can see here in the study with using this 630 nanometer, and this is CBCL, cutaneous B-cell lymphoma. All patients achieve complete remission. But I'll show you directly from the study here. So you can see that all the treated patients had a complete remission, defined as a clinical and histologic complete absence of cutaneous B-cell lymphoma after a maximum of 2 photodynamic sessions at a 1-week interval. No patient experienced any side effects, and the pain was easily managed after the photodynamic therapy sessions. So this is really key for people to know. This is straight from PubMed. People can tell this format, and you can put in the keywords and find this for yourself. You see here this overall response for lung cancer of nearly 87%, meaning that 87% of the people had an improved quality of life as a result, and they were responding well to it. And so then you see it there directly from the conclusion in the study. And this is just, even bone cancer, things that you wouldn't think this could be effective for. And to me, it's about people getting ahead of this for those that may not be in this situation. And once you can do that, then you can start to have that confidence, because we can't just sit waiting, and we need to get ahead of all this, because the toxicities that we're facing are nothing short of, horrifying, really.
So let's assume someone now is going to buy one of these devices. Is there education that goes along with it? Do they know how long to use it, how frequently? Are there any side effects they need to be aware of?
Uh,
Give us a little more of the
Of course. Yes, thanks, Peggy. So it's simple. Like the general instructions are based on studies, and what you'll see is even on that page that there's a presentation where I go through each of those slides, all the ones that I wasn't able to cover, which takes a few hours, but you could just skip through it and decide what you want to see, or watch it all. Some people will really feel engaged to do that, and then. When you get your device, that you'll get a book that will give you some of those basic instructions. Then when it comes, there's a lot of things we share, and then our customer service as well. We send out some of our books and literature that we've produced digitally to people, so that they can have more information. And then as well, I encourage people to do their own research, because there is 75,000 different diagnoses. And yes, I have to say, this is not medical advice. Consult with your local
right.
practitioner. And this is not designed to treat, cure, or diagnose any condition or disease. And the devices advertised in this presentation are not the same as what's used in the clinical studies. They don't disclose that information, but we're combining all of that information and making it simple and straightforward to give the highest quality device that's used in top medical grade facilities internationally, and giving people really the hope that they can have, not just for themselves, but their whole family. We mentioned about supplements. You have one bottle, that's one for you, but I'm a family of four. I got a wife and two young boys. When we have that one device, it's for the whole family. It's for all my neighbors. It's for and really, that's how we can reclaim our world and the health of our loved ones. And so, take that responsibility and take action on your health. Know that you're worth it. That's the most important thing. You're worth it. You deserve to have good health, and settling for status quo is not okay. And whether it's with a thyroid condition, the clinical studies that showed that the women, because it's really mainly women that are suffering from thyroid conditions, not exclusively, but 10 to 1. So 10 to 1, 10 women for every one man.
So a lot of support for the thyroid function, production. And another question for you, Jonathan, then these devices, do you have to replace them every year? What kind of lifespan do they have?
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's a 50,000 hour rated lifespan, which because we're talking about using that half an hour a day, it actually goes into well over 100 years, which is
Oh, wow.
crazy.
Okay, they don't have to replace it every few years.
No,
Not like the cell phone, right?
no, and the energy consumption. And one of the things I like to tell people as well, like, because I don't want anyone to suffer. If people cannot get a hold of anything, they should even look at like chicken lamps that are $10. They will get some light therapy from that. It'll be about 10 times less powerful, but even that much is going to help you.
Yeah.
And so, because it's so efficient with the way it consumes the light. But yeah, so if you're using it for a whole family, yes, you could still expect that to last a whole lifetime based on the rated lifespan. And again, it's fully covered by a 3-year warranty and a 60-day money back guarantee, so people can test it and say,
Great.
is
Okay.
yeah, it's like a test run that's
That's
on
fantastic.
the
That,
company.
that's going to be my next question. So, friends, you heard that. You can try it out. 60-day money back guarantee. There's a 3-year warranty. And what's appealing to me, Jonathan, is that you don't have to get in the car, drive to the doctor, wait in the doctor's office, be in that whole, who knows what else they might diagnose or something. You can do this at home. It's convenient. Like you say, it's for the whole family. There are no side effects other than positive ones. I want to give you the final word here. I do want to remind everybody to go to, and I'll have a link for everybody. It's myredlight.com, simple to remember. Jonathan has offered a 10% to all of my lovely, healthy Americans. And I know that some of you are struggling with the autoimmune, with the thyroid. And of course, here at the American, we are all about living healthy, living fully, freely, and not getting in the grips of, a medical merry-go-round. You want to get off that medical merry-go-round and really get to the source. So last words for you here, John.
Yeah. No, thanks, Peggy. Well, here's an example of a side effect. where a 93-year-old, this one came through on Friday. So I was just doing a live call with it, just had 150 people on, and I was just actually just troubleshooting, helping them, just making sure they could turn everything on, and anyway. So then these people, but while I remember as well, we have a huge demand, so be aware of that, and so we've put the expected time of delivery on the page. So just be like aware of that. But it's so great because it puts you at the front of the queue, and again, it's some what everything we're doing is so unique. You can't find it other places. So it's best to to do that. Get at the front of the queue, and then and anyway, coming back to this case study. So a woman that was on the call, she was caring for this 93-year-old. So that's one of the good jobs that she has. And so she put this device over this woman's eyes. And again, you got to be careful with this kind of stuff, just because I but look at the clinical studies. Anyway, she did this woman, then it was 21 minutes in, and she had turned on the TV. She has dementia, this 93-year-old. She says, "What's wrong with my TV?" And she says, "What do you mean?" She says, "I can read the words, and I can never read the words, and I can see colors. What's wrong with the TV?" Because she really actually thought that something was wrong with the TV. And then it went on the stocks channel, and she could read the fine print. And I'm not saying that that will happen to everyone. I don't know. And her body responded to it. The next thing that she said was, later, was, what's wrong with my feet? And she said, "What do you mean, what's wrong with my feet?" She said, "They're not hurting." And she said, because she then she got that belt that you can see on the page, put it over her
Uh-huh.
feet. And then she said, they're not hurting. They always hurt. And they hurt so much. And they keep me up, and it hurts so much. And now they're not hurting. And then 3 days later, she'd come back. And even still, she said, Last time you were here, you did something to my feet. What did you do? They're not hurting anymore." And so it was just this amazing case study. It's replicating the sunset and the sunrise, that beautiful red tint, and get out into the sun, and that's the time that you can look into the light, because everyone knows that you can watch a sunset. And the cerebellum has even hundreds of thousands of mitochondria per cell based on studies. And so when you're capturing that light into your eyes, it's going into the cerebellum and these areas of the body, and your body's receiving that light, and it has profound implications. And it's so beautiful to think of how reactive the body is when it's given the right thing, and how much things can change in so little time. And seeing this has changed my whole outlook on health after being in this field for decades now. And now I'm seeing things that I've never seen in my whole career, and it just gives me so much joy, so much hope. And hence why I'm helping a lot of people around the world with this, because it's just my life's mission to put an end to suffering, which has always been in the plan. And we're still doing all the work in northern Kenya, for example, with famine relief, and that's a way that we can put end to suffering there. But the suffering that our viewers are going through is often not that there's not enough food on the table, but there's declining health, and their organs are failing. And you can put an end to that, but you need to take action on your health, and you need to try things, and you need to be brave and put yourself out there, and not and make yourself that test study yourself, because you'll only ever know if it works for you if you try it. And that's why I encourage people to make that step.
Well, that's wonderful, Jonathan. I really appreciate the opportunity to share this information with my audience, and for your generosity in offering this little extra nudge for people to give it a try. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee and all sorts of education. So, friends, if you're interested, I'll have a link for you in the description box below, where you can watch a video interview with Jonathan if you'd like to hear more from him. And then over at myredlight.com. You can use that code word Peggy. I'll have a link for you in the description box below. Thank you, Jonathan, for taking time out of your humanitarian work to educate our viewers here. And I look forward to seeing you in possibly an upcoming interview.
Oh, I would love to. I can't wait. I will absolutely make sure to do that. And again, thank you, Peggy. It's an honor. And yes, I'll pass your greetings and your love to the team here that's doing everything they can. I'll get back to the crew with thank you, Peggy. Bless you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jonathan. So the first step, everybody, just go to the website, start there, learn, educate, click through, and see what the right fit is for you. Thanks again, Jonathan. Have a great rest of the day. And everybody else, you know where to find me, peggyhall.substack.com. See you soon, everybody.